You see a picture of a kitten. Your response is immediate, almost involuntary. It's a warmth, a desire to protect. This isn't an accident. It's a biological lock being turned by a very specific key. Ethologist Konrad Lorenz first codified this key in 1943, calling it Kindchenschema, or the baby schema. It's a simple checklist of features: a large head relative to the body, a high and protruding forehead, large eyes set low on the face, chubby cheeks, and a small nose and mouth. These are the universal triggers for our caregiving instinct. When your eyes register these proportions, a signal travels to your brain's mesocortico-limbic system. This is not the part of your brain that handles conscious thought. This is the ancient reward pathway. Specifically, the nucleus accumbens floods with dopamine. It's the same neural circuit that activates when you eat delicious food or listen to a powerful piece of music. Your brain is rewarding you for simply looking at something that appears young and helpless. It's a pre-programmed command. Pay attention to this. Protect this. Here's where it gets strange. A human baby is the intended target of this mechanism, but it is not its most effective activator. The Nobel laureate Nicholas Tinbergen discovered that animals often respond more intensely to exaggerated, artificial versions of a stimulus than to the real thing. He called this a supernormal stimulus. He found birds would rather sit on a giant, brightly colored fake egg than their own pale, smaller ones. A baby animal is often a supernormal version of a human baby. A kitten's eyes, relative to its skull size, are vastly larger than a human infant's. Its head is rounder, its features more condensed. It is a caricature of cuteness, and our brains can't help but overreact. A newborn human, in contrast, can be objectively strange-looking. They can be wrinkly, blotchy, and their heads are sometimes temporarily misshapen from birth. They haven't yet developed the layer of subcutaneous fat that creates the chubby cheeks on the Kindchenschema checklist. This initial appearance can fall into a sort of cuteness uncanny valley. Our biological bond with our own offspring is, of course, reinforced by countless other factors like smell, touch, and genetic imperative. But on a purely visual, first impression basis, a perfectly formed, fluffy chick often presents a cleaner, more potent version of the cute triggers. The hack isn't purely visual. The sounds matter too. Baby animals emit high-pitched vocalizations, mews, chirps, yelps. Our brains are wired to interpret high frequencies as a signal of non-aggression and helplessness. It's an auditory flag that triggers the same protective pathways as the visual cues. Research into psychoacoustics shows that these specific frequencies can lower our heart rate and prepare us for nurturing behavior, regardless of the species making the sound. A kitten's mew and a baby's cry tap into the same fundamental alert system. This powerful, pre-programmed response is so reliable that it can be exploited. Consider the cuckoo. It lays its egg in the nest of a smaller bird, like a reed warbler. The cuckoo chick, once hatched, is a supernormal stimulus. It's bigger, its mouth is a brighter red, and its begging calls are more demanding than the host's own chicks. The warbler parents are instinct-bound. They cannot stop feeding this giant imposter, often at the expense of their own young. Their cute response is hijacked and used against them. The same instinctual glitch that allows the cuckoo to thrive also explains why a leopard might spare a baby baboon after killing its mother, or why a dog might adopt a litter of kittens. These are not conscious decisions of empathy. They are misfirings of a deeply embedded, non-species-specific program. The Kinshasa triggers are so potent they can override predatory instincts. The sight of a small, big-eyed, helpless creature short-circuits the expected behavior and reroutes it towards caregiving, creating these moments of startling interspecies tenderness. This preference for juvenile features is so powerful, we have used it to reshape entire species. This is neoteny, the retention of youthful traits into adulthood. An adult wolf has a long snout, erect ears, and a slender build. An adult dog, its domesticated descendant, often has a shorter snout, floppy ears, and a stockier, more puppy-like frame. Over thousands of years, we have unconsciously and consciously selected for animals that look and act like perpetual juveniles. We didn't just domesticate them, we forced them to stay babies forever. A remarkable experiment in Siberia laid this process bare. Starting in 1959, Soviet scientist Dmitry Belyayev began breeding silver foxes, selecting only for one trait, tameness towards humans. Within just a few generations, something incredible happened. The foxes' physical forms began to change. Their coats developed spots, their ears began to flop, their tails curled, and their snouts shortened. They began to bark and whimper like dogs. By selecting for a juvenile behavior, tameness, Belyayev inadvertently selected for juvenile physical traits. Cuteness, it turns out, is genetically packaged with friendliness. The pattern detector in our brain is remarkably simple. It doesn't need fur or a heartbeat to be activated. It just needs the right proportions. This is why we see faces in inanimate objects, a phenomenon called pareidolia. The front of a Volkswagen Beetle, with its two big headlights for eyes and rounded hood, is a perfect Kinshasa trigger. Cartoon characters are designed with this in mind, with their impossibly large eyes and tiny bodies. The cute response is a fundamental pattern recognition system. And once you see the pattern, you realize it's everywhere, shaping not just our affection for animals, but our design choices, our art, and perhaps even how we see each other. Monotony has grown fast. Nearly 2,700 people have watched in the last few weeks, yet less than 0.03% are subscribed. It would mean a lot if you joined by hitting subscribe. And again, thanks for watching.